A friend has lost some weight and he's got a very large special order size. So rather than order more special order uh, pants that are going to perhaps continue changing as he's losing weight, I am going to show you how to adjust the size even though it's a little unconventional. It's easy. Okay, normally in order to tighten an elastic band on a pair of pants or a skirt, you could just, open up one of these seams or even cut a seam if you don't care and pull the elastic tighter and then stitch it, replace it so that the whole elastic is shorter. But this pair of pants, that is impossible the way that the stitching is. So instead, what we're doing is making a fold in the front of the pants between the button and the first loop, and we're just doing about an inch overlap here where our first tack stitch will go across the top and across the bottom. Then that will be able to fold back on itself. It's extremely thick, but we're going to tack it at the top here and if possible at the bottom, so that at the end you can see this is going to look like a pleat in the front, a very small pleat. The pocket is still intact, and it really doesn't create any strange lines. The button loops are all able to be used still, but you will perhaps need a thimble to get that needle, and a very thick needle to get it to go through these heavy, thick layers. So I started by, of course, putting the knot in the back. So starting going down through, just tacked 3 times through both layers, and then I'm coming along and doing that on the bottom as well. We're just tacking it. It doesn't need to be a large stitch. You can do probably any thread color. It's such a small stitch, you're not really going to see it. I happened to have some tan, so that's going to just disappear into this rust color stitching, top stitching on the pants. It is so thick, and this needle is so large. You can see this eye really does open up at the end. It's really an upholstery needle, but it's great for this application. We're pulling that and just going to go 3 times through, straight through, only 2 layers at a time. Makes it much easier. So this is our second time through. Give it a little wiggle. Instead of a thimble, just press it down from the back. All right, so now I've gone through 3 times to tack the bottom, and I'm making a little knot. The way I do it is I go in and out at the bottom here. Whoops, I'm going in too deep, it's so thick. Okay, here, I'm coming out. Get halfway, get your needle halfway through and grab the thread from the back of the needle and go around the point 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Hold that down tightly. Push the rest of the way through or pull, and put your finger right on that area. It's going to tighten. And I usually keep my finger right on it, but I wanted you to see it's getting all wadded up, and then at the end it tightens and knots itself. Now when we cut that, of course, it's hidden. I'll grab my scissors. Okay. These knots are hidden. They're not rough against the skin. We're folding back now tightly. And now we'll be tacking up here and down here. Okay, so to make a knot, I lick this end to make it damp, wrap it around my finger once and roll it off. Just roll it off and put your fingernail down as you slide. And I didn't do it well enough. I didn't have both of the strings together. I let it get too dry before we got the photo, so let's try again. Okay, just wrap it around once loosely so you can roll this off And then you can see it's got lots of little twists in there. Now I'm putting my fingernail above it all and pulling. And as you do that, it can't unknot and unravel, so you end up with a nice big ball of knot at the end, which is what we need to keep it in our pants. So now down here, I'm going to do this one first because this is the hardest one to access, but you can still do it. You come down through here, just stick your needle down in there and feel until it comes out somewhere near the corner here. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's going to come out down here, in fact, right underneath the band. Okay, so there, we've started it. Okay, we're going to fold it over. The knot is hidden, it's not going to bother anybody wearing it at the waist. And now we're going down through. I'll get my thimble back. When you get down through as far as you can from pressing behind, you may need to wiggle a little to get it to come all the way. There, we got it. Okay, so all we're doing is cinching this so it doesn't flap open. It's not really, this particular stitch is not really for strength. It will keep it lasting longer, but the main thing is to keep it from flapping forward. Most of the strength is in that first side we stitched, because that's where all the pull from the elastic is going to be. See how hard this is? Now once you get it started out here where you want it, then you can turn it over, and rather than risking this slipping and hitting your finger, just turn it over and press down as far as you can. Try to wiggle it through. I've had quite a time getting the needle out of here, so you might have to press down a few times to make sure you've really got it. Hold as far as you can, then just keep wiggling. There, we got it. Okay, I'm going underneath here so that it's not so hard on the down side, and using the counter. Okay, that's really all we need to do. It's tacked. Now, because we have enough thread and we need to get up here, I'm gonna just glide through here, not very deep, so the thread is hidden, but I am gonna catch this edge too, if I can, of this other layer. So if you want to see what I'm doing a little better, I'll do it. So you can see the needle coming through there, see the point? There, we're going to back it off and just catch, line it up and just catch it just a little bit so that it's going to stay. You want it to come out somewhere, and then we can work with it. Okay, again, you're going to have to wiggle. This is a lot of layers, and they're very durable layers, but that's also going to give it a little more durability. I barely got it, but we did. So the last thing is just to tack the whole, this whole thickness, all three. I'm going to start it with a thimble, and then turn and use the counter as far as we can, wiggle it out. Okay. Come around again. And a third time. I'm going through the same hole. And that's it. Now we're knotting it and we're done. All right, let's put our final knot in. Going down through halfway. Take the thread from the back of the needle. If you've got enough, and we just barely do, we're going under 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Pull it back nice and firm. Put your thumb over it gently. Let it slide through. It's going to tangle itself. Usually I keep my thumb on there, like I said, because I want you to see it does pull itself down. I'm going to put another stitch to make sure that it doesn't, the end doesn't work its way out. And snip. That is not a knot. That knot is not going to bother anybody. It's not going to be irritable on your skin. So here we have these jeans. We've got some pleats in the front that are placed pretty much where they normally would be if you purchase them with pleats, but we've shortened by about 4 inches the waistline. So that's a quick fix if you don't mind the push and pull with a thimble and an extra strong needle. You can save however much an extra large pair of jeans might cost you.